Hey everyone, it's Sebastian here, Candle Business Pro. I'm working in my shop today. Shop number one. This is like our OG store. This is where it all started. This is before we've been in business as of the recording of this. We've been in the business 3.5 years, almost 4 years actually now. And we have had this store for just over 3 years. We just re-signed our lease for hopefully another 3 years. Hopefully business will keep growing. We started just online and then we were doing markets. We got into wholesale, and then we needed a place to produce even more stuff. So it was like, what better time to open a brick and mortar store than when you need more space? So I thought, while I'm here today working, and it's it's the middle of the week, so I have some time. I will show you what we have going on back here. So it's a little messy. It's worked in. It's lived in. It's where our pride and joy happen. So let's take a look at some stuff. So I'm going to move the camera around a little bit, different angles here, but to give you a overview of what the space looks like. So we have a large bar right here in the middle. Then we have a stainless steel working table, and then we have back here some workbenches. Now, here's some tips. I want to give you some tips as we're going through this. So I'm not just showing you the space, but telling you what I would do again or what I would change. Now, these stainless steel tables like this, they're easy to work on. They're easy to clean up. But if you are in pouring candles in a climate that's maybe a little colder, you don't stainless steel is not that great because it is going to rapidly cool your candles. I would highly recommend going with a workbench style table that we have back there. Actually, we have a lot of them. We have them all the way around here now. We got these at Menards, which is like a Lowe's or Home Depot in the Midwest. But you actually can get these at Sam's Club as well. Now, your Sam's Club may not have them in stock, but when we opened our second store, we needed them, and Sam's Club had a better price on them, and we were able to order it for pickup, and then it was delivered there the next day. And then we went there and picked it up, and it saved us some money. But they are really thick. It's like a butcher block top, but it has a smooth finish on it, so it's really easy to make candles on. I would highly recommend getting one of those to make your candles on versus a stainless steel table. But when you're just starting out, you want to just get out of your kitchen into another room in your house. Grabbing one of these stainless steel things like this from Lowe's is good as well. But I think price wise, they were just about the same. So I would go with the workbench. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about our melters. So we use 2 auto melters in all of our shops now. We have multiple in all of our shops now, but we did start with, when we opened this location up, we bought this large Cougar. So it's a big Cougar. It's really nice. It's very commercial grade, but it's a lot. And even though we are, you know, doing the amount of volume that we're doing, it's not necessary to have this because we're not emptying this out every day. What I would recommend, because this was like $3,500 plus like $500 for shipping. I'm going to set this down and see if it can still record a little bit. Yeah. So what I would recommend, instead of that, I would recommend that 2 Watto's new. I call it the Beast. Maybe they'll rename it the Beast. It holds 66 pounds of wax. This is like 140. This is way too much. The 66-pound 2 Watto is going to be the same as size as what Candle Science has. They have it's a nice melter that they sell, but it's $1,800 now. When we bought the Candle Science melter, it was $1,250 or $1,400, and it has gone up substantially in the last year and a half since and that's what we have in our second store. If you see me with another stainless steel melter, the 2 Watto melter isn't going to be as heavy duty. It's not going to feel maybe as expensive, but it holds the same amount of wax. It heats the wax up, and in reality, that's what we want. We want a wax melter that's going to heat the wax up, and it's going to keep a consistent temperature. And from $1,800 or the 2 Watto, that is $400. I always have a link in the notes below with an additional discount that they give to our Candle Business Pro followers. You can always use that as well. So you'll see back here, we've got our other, so we have a 2 Watto melter here. This is this is like the 10-pound. No, this is a 10 liter, so 20 pounds of wax is what fits in that. And this is just for a wax melt wax. So what's nice about the 2 Auto melters is we can have multiple of them because they're pretty affordable. So in our other stores, like we'll have multiple of those, and we've got more of these downstairs in our lower level in our basement there. We've got an old melter back there that has some testing wax that we do there. we'll add some stuff into it. All right. So as far as what else do we have back here? Let's talk about printers. So we get most of our labels and things are going to be professionally printed, but we will print a lot of stuff in the store if it's small batch. We're doing a small little private label project, also just to test stuff and see how it's going to go. So what I recommend is an Epson EcoTank, the 2800. When it comes to printers, the larger the number doesn't mean it's a better machine. The larger Epson numbers, like the 3650, which we have, and others, they have more functions as a printer. But if you're printing labels, you just want it to be a good printer. Like the 3650 Epson EcoTank that we have, like it will print double-sided stuff. It's more of an office printer, right? Which its main goal isn't the quality of print. So so we have the the Epson EcoTank 2800, the ET 2800 right here. It is the best printing EcoTank. So if you're going to get an EcoTank, go with that one there. It is an inkjet printer. Down here, we have a brother printer, which is a laser printer. And so we do all of our black and white printing on that one mostly. An inkjet printer is going to give you the best ink, the most vibrant colors. You got to have an inkjet. Laser printer is going to be good for specific types of labels as well. So depending on what you're printing. Also, whenever you buy labels, this is very weird with the camera down below. But here we are anyways. There we go. For the, when you're buying labels, we recommend, we buy most of our labels from onlinelabels.com if we're going to print them ourselves, versus Avery. They're just less expensive than Avery and they do just as good of a job. When you are buying labels, make sure that you select either an inkjet or a laser because it makes a massive difference on how it's going to print. Okay, so if you print on an inkjet printer onto a laser label, it's just going to smear right off. It's like it's never going to cure on there. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about that. We also have another printer here, which is a Canon. This guy here is a Canon IP 8720. So Canon IP 8720. It is a photo printer, and that will print professional grade labels. The color on it is just fantastic. It's just like what we would get with printing or having a professional printer print our labels. We only use that like when we're testing stuff out, or again, if we're printing 10, 12, 20 candles for an order, then it's worth it because it's going to use a lot of ink. It's a photo printer, so the cost is expensive. It ends up being for like a 3x3 label, it's going to cost you probably about $1 a label, and that's expensive compared to getting them for 35, 45 cents is what we get them for when we buy them in bulk from a printer. But if you go to a professional printer and you're only ordering a dozen, it's going to cost you that. So we really like having that on hand. Again, when people want just something private label, something that we need to get out right away, fantastic to have that. We absolutely love it, especially when we are testing out new designs and new candles. Our new line that we are releasing called Without is a completely different candle brand than Garza and Beacon, completely different customer, different everything. And we have really been going back and forth with some of our labeling. So it's been so nice to have that here in the store. So that's an option for you if you're wanting a very high-end printer. Just keep in mind that you are going to have to go through ink quite a bit, and it's affordable. It's less than $300 for that. But again, I wouldn't use it for daily printing stuff. It is a photo printer. So that is there. Other little things. I have a checklist actually of all the supplies and tools that we use in the shop. It has most everything on there. There might be some things that I'm missing, but I'll kind of go through some of the stuff that we use just to show you kind of how we use it. So underneath when we are measuring out our wax, which I think you can see here. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, there we go. See, I am not even here. Let me just move this right here. See, this is a very raw video. I'm not even going to edit this whatsoever. So this is how we've got our We have a pitcher underneath our spout. That's what's great about the two auto melters as well. Like they've got the spouts here on the side that you can then put a pitcher underneath them. You may need to raise it up a little bit depending on what size of a pitcher you're going to use. You may need to raise it up on a stand. Obviously, this large melter doesn't need that. So we put our scale. This scale is on our list. We have a different scale for our wax than we do for our fragrance oils, and that's because a scale like this, these are less than $10, and it's going to have like 2 digits, right? So it's going to be like 1 pound, 0.05 ounces. Okay, so it's going to go to 2 decimal spots. For our fragrance oils, we want it to be much more precise so that our consistency is always there. So we use a little scale like this. It's a digital scale and it goes 3 decimal places. It's very, very precise. So we measure our oils on this. Usually, what we will do when we're making our candles, let me grab a Okay, so here is a silicone measuring cup. They're very flexible. They are fantastic to reuse over and over and over again. So we will use these to measure our fragrance oil. We are going to put them on this more precise scale. Pour our oils in here. Pour our wax into a pitcher, and then once this is ready once we have our wax measured out on that scale there, we're ready to pour this in there. So we don't be concerned about not being able to get the scent out of your measuring cup. It's not going to transfer your other candles. We do wipe everything down with isopropyl, which is rubbing alcohol. We use a 91%. It's what we use. We actually use these little glass bottles, which I don't know where they have gone to. Oh, it was right here. And then the top broke off. I was like, why do they have this? So this is a big old bottle of this stuff. We use these glass bottles here. We do all of our cleaning with isopropyl rubbing alcohol for our anything that we clean. Once we are done making candles, we spray everything down with it, and then we just wipe it off with paper towels, throw it away. And we do that for everything. We don't have, we have a restroom here, of course, in our facility, but we don't wash anything in the sink. Everything is just done by paper towels and isopropyl. We even like our plates, spoons, measuring cups, everything is just done that way. You shouldn't need any water in your space. There's just no need for it. Spatulas, what we are stirring with, because one of my biggest pet peeves is drives me nuts using metal spoons. We have silicone spatulas, but they're going to be much easier on the ears when you're stirring. Again, you can just spray these down with isopropyl and to do the cleaning of that. All right, what else do we have? Oh, heat gun. Our heat gun, it's a Seek 1 heat gun. We've had these since day one. So I mean, look at the tips on this thing. Like, it's pretty gross. It has one job, and that is to melt our candles to smooth the tops out. What we do is we always turn it to the highest temperature, but there's 2 settings. There's 1 and 2. We never put it on 2. We always do it on 1, so it's not blowing the wax out of the container. But we turn it on the hottest one. So that's there. Let me take a look down and let me see if there's anything else I'm missing over here. I don't think so. Oh, these are fantastic to use, which is I think they're called like a bread cutter or a kneader or something like that. But to scrape the tables with or the workbenches with is absolutely fantastic to have, so that we're not trying to like use rubbing alcohol to get all that off. Because once it's hard, it's gonna be a little bit tougher. Now let's take a look at for our labels. People are always like, "How are you storing labels? How are you storing labels?" We always just put ours in a drawer. So we put ours in a filing cabinet. We've got a couple of just your basic filing cabinets down here, and they are just full of labels. So, nothing special about that. We always, to save space, we always get our labels printed on sheets. There are some printers that will do them on rolls for you, and ideally, it sounds like it'd be kind of nice, but for space, we want to be able to put everything in a filing cabinet. So that's the reason why we do it like that. All right, let's take a look over here. We always have a bucket or a tote, I should say, of packing peanuts and I can't even think, bubble wrap. Okay, So for our packing peanuts, we very rarely have to buy packing peanuts. Sometimes at the holidays, we will have to buy them, and we will buy them from Uline. They come in a 7 pound bag, which is, it's literally, it's as tall as I am. And it's only 7 pounds. It's very weird, but it'll seem expensive. Like the peanuts themselves are going to be cheap, but the shipping is going to be like 3 times as much. But when you look at the prices of buying from Uline and then looking at like Staples or something else, it ends up being the best deal if you need a lot. Now, most of our packing peanuts, we thank Candle Science for it, because Candle Science always has so many packing peanuts, and we just throw them in there, and then we've got boxes of them down in the basement. Maybe I'll go show you the basement. If you guys want to see the basement, as long as there's no customers that come in here that I got to take care of, we have time, I will go and show you the basement here in just a moment. So, so we're going to use the Candle Science. We're going to save those for our packing up. And then below there, we have these, okay, so bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, we buy this at Staples. So once a month, it seems like it's once a month, maybe once every 3 weeks, Staples will have buy two, get one free. And they come in these big rolls, and they're perforated every 12 inches. And so we just rip them all apart. So we rip them up. So they're 12 by 12s. This is perfect for wrapping our candles. So that's what we get. And again, get them at Staples whenever they are on sale. They'll always have buy two, get one free on the big rolls. The rolls themselves are like $32. So it's an investment, but then you'll have plenty that will last you a very, very long time. So that's where we get those. If you don't want to buy that much and you only want to buy one like roll of the bubble wrap, then I would go to Sam's Club, like Sam's Club or Costco. They have them, but we have found out that they're not as sturdy or as strong. So just keep that in mind. We haven't had any issue. They just don't feel the same. But if you only need one roll, then that price wise, it's definitely going to be the way to go. Whenever Staples has a buy two, get one free, that's the way to go if you're going to buy a lot in order. All right. Now our oils, let me get this up and out the way. Let me see here. We've got a thermal printer here. This is just a Mumbin one here. And it's funny because our previous printer, we had, I don't know, 3 years, right? It just went out. So we bit the bullet or whatever they say and bought that one. A week later, Tuato, which we're in constant contact with, was like, hey, our thermal printer's ready. We're going to send it to you. They sent it to us, and now we have that in our other shops, and we love it, and it's fantastic. So it was like, dang, if that would have just came a week earlier, we would have had a free printer versus buying one, but it works just fine. It works great. All right, let's take a look at how we store our oil. So now underneath here, you're going to see lots and lots of oils. So all of our oils that we have here behind the counter, we do it 2 rows deep of oils. And so we've got 4 shelves worth of those oils. Now we put all the oils when they come out of, we buy our oils like this, right? And we are going to, you can put a cap right on those, but we like to have the skinnier bottles. So we buy these on Amazon. Again, they're on that supply list you can grab in the notes below. But we like to have these with the twist lids. They're skinnier. They can hold more. We can carry around a lot more. And also, it's usually, this is 8 ounces. Those bottles from the supplier, we buy them at 16 ounces. So if it's an oil that doesn't sell as well for us, we don't go through it as often, we can split it up to go into different stores. So that's one thing to think about. Or if you have another candle maker where you live and you want to go in on splitting oils, those bottles are really great to do that with. Then we just have a bunch of pictures, like 15 or 20 pictures down there. Nothing else over here. Let me show you down below here where we keep our wicks and thing. We keep them all just in drawers, right? So like we have them all, like CDs, 4, 8, and 10s are here, 12, 14, 16s, 18s, 20, 22s, all that. We just keep them in the bag so that they're separated still. So we'll keep them just right in the bags. So that's that. Obviously, we have tons of tissue paper. We wrap up our candles with that. When we get you off of the floor, that's kind of weird down there. Okay. And so we will wrap all of our candles up in tissue paper before we we wrap it in tissue paper and we'll put a label sticker on there that looks like this. This is what, so it looks nice. So we'll wrap it up really nicely. We basically roll it in there, and then we'll stick this on there to keep it sealed. And then we wrap that in bubble wrap before we place it in the box, and then we put the peanuts and all of that in there. For what else we have down here is our wick setters. So we use a couple different kinds of wick setters. These will work on some vessels, but they're hard to work with because the wick has to come up through it, and then you actually have to like push it over to the side. And then based on how this is going to set in a vessel, sometimes it's not going to fit on there right. So we just use these. They're the most inexpensive, very, very cheap. And they'll kind of hurt your thumbs from pushing the wicks into them whenever you're doing tons. But this is all it takes for us to center a wick, is going to be this. Now, if we're only making a couple candles, we will simply use these. And these are just chip clips. They're 6-inch, maybe they're only 5-inch, like a 5-inch chip clip off of Amazon. And this will, you just put the wick right in between one of the teeth on here, of the chip clip, and it's easy. It just snaps right into place, and then it pops right off. This is what we also use if you have a wide mouth vessel, right? So if you're looking at, like, say, the Makesy Aura or the Candle Science, I'm looking at my wall over here. I'll show you that in a moment too. The Candle Science ceramics, things like that, this is going to be not long or wide enough. You can use these for that reason. All right, let's take a look at what else I have. So on our baker's rack over here, we probably got lots of goodies to show you over here. Might not look all that exciting, but let me go through and show you some of the stuff that we do or what we have. Chad likes to put a respirator on whenever he's doing some intense candle pouring. So if it's just a nonstop candle pouring day, he'll throw a respirator on just so he's not breathing this all in. You can see we have all kinds of oils. Obviously, you see all those down there. I'm going to show you our basement a little bit. All these boxes here that you're seeing, these are all samples here. So let me just show you how it is. And let me show you a little trick of what we do is we write on the top of the bottles so that we don't have to lift them up to know what they are. And like this entire box here is going to be some Candle Science samples here. And this is how we organize them. We actually put little stickers with the names on them so we know what is what. We've got our Hive and Honey over here. We've got our Sensory over here. This one down below is all of our AFIs. Shout out to AFI. They have the best, really nice samples. In fact, AFI has, we worked with them for our entire new line, that Without brand. So we created blends, and then we are having AFI make them for us, so we don't have to keep blending stuff every single batch we do. So they have been fantastic to work with. The only thing is there is a minimum amount that you have to purchase, which is, £5. I think it's £5 for, it's 15 pounds. 15 pounds for a custom blend. So you have to know it's going to sell before we, take that leap. That's why you see that we've got all these oils from all these other different suppliers, because they come in 1 pound, options or less. Let's see what else. Oh, over here. So this is a little secret. This is us tracking and testing new scents that, when I say we, this is Chad. This is Chad's baby over here. He is the king that does all of our scent blending. That's what we do. We do the Q-tips for everything. We'll let it sit, and then we have a sheet here. I better find what I just dropped. He will kill me if I don't. Okay, I'll look for that afterwards. I lost the name off the top of that one. He'll kill us if we don't replace that. We use pipettes for a lot of things. Sometimes you just need a little bit of oil, or you need to take some oil out of something. These little pipette things have come in handy often. So we have those. Let's see here. What else? Oh, you can't go wrong with obviously having some gloves on hand. But so having a nice little funnel that when you're pouring from that 1 pound bottle of oil like this into one of those 8 ounce ones, having a funnel can be helpful. Or you can put a lid on. So if it's a brand new bottle, we'll use a funnel for it. But if it's one that we're just refilling, we'll take the cap off of the 8 ounce, put it onto the 16 ounce, and then pour it in there and then swap the lids back. So something you can do there as well. So we've got all this is just like on a little baker's cart that we've got over here. What else do we have? Oh, our bags, all of our bags. So when all our bags, these are just off of Amazon. All these bags, we have 3 sizes of bags. We have basically small, medium, large for, they buy 1 candle. They only need to have the small bag. This is if they buy 2 to 4 candles. And then we have a larger bag if they buy more than that. But we just stamp these ourselves, as you can tell. I'll show you here. All right, obviously having a tape gun is very important. I've been here. I got a ton of wholesale stuff out today. So I went through a roll of that. A scale here. These are our shipping supplies all together. So we have this, what is this, Accutech, pretty inexpensive scale. It's our shipping scale for anything like up to anything that a small box will go on here. You'll end up getting a floor or needing a floor scale once you're shipping out like wholesale, where you just need a bigger box. Again, you can get an inexpensive scale for that, but that's the difference in the scales. So we just stamp the bags. All those bags, we're just stamping and a stamp. We're stamping all of those. We also stamp the sides of our boxes before we seal them up. Or actually before we even open them up, because once you have them open, it's hard to push against them. So while they're still flat, we would stamp them. Actually, while we're talking about that, boxes. All right, so we get our boxes from Uline. This is a 6x6x6, which is the super common box. This is gonna be for one like 10 ounce candle or a bunch of wax melts, or 2 of our smaller candles, like a 7 ounce candle. And then our 8x8x6. This is our most common box. This is gonna hold up to like 5 candles. Like if you do like a dice, the number 5, you can get 5 candles into an 8x8x6. We also then have a 10x10x6. No, excuse me, a 10x10x8. And then we get into bigger 12x12x12, and then we have larger and larger for wholesale orders to get all of those out. Let's see here. Everything else, we already gone through all this. Oils, VIP stuff, bunch of lids, warning stickers. Oh, candle care card. We always put a candle care card in every order. It's blank on the back, so we'll do a handwritten note on the back. Just a nice little gesture to have there. Cool. I think that's it here. Let me go show you the basement. I don't think anyone's got to see the basement before. So we are going to go down there, and I will show you what's down there. Let me see if I can get this to adjust. Perfect. That'll work for now. All right, let's go to the basement. All right. So it is kind of dark right here, but you can see this is just a spot where we have a lot of our stock up and down, our different things that don't hold out on the floor. We have a bunch of stuff there. So nothing too incredible to look at, anything like that. Let's go around this other side. You're going to see we've got just tons of our vessels that we wrap around here. This is where a lot of our photography happens, right? So we've got all of our photography equipment there. Again, it's not organized right now. We wipe everything off the table. We put the photo box on there. You can see it is messy. Let's tell Chad how messy his space is. Tons of vessels here. And then it's just all just different supplies that we need, right? It's gonna be all vessels. Here is all of our bulk, more bulk oils. So these are gonna be more of our popular oils. Shout out to Candle Science, which has the name on most of the stuff. And then we've just got hundreds more oils here of all kinds of different things. Also, you can see up here, we have individual pictures for different blends that we do. And these are the ones these are just our classics. These are our biggest sellers. Then we'll give it its own picture. We also will give it its own spot for their oils, and then also their own silicone measuring cup. But again, for the rest of our stuff, it's just wiping them out afterwards is totally fine. These are all just boxes and boxes of Wicks, and then just lots of extra vessels all the way around. We use all kinds of things. I don't know. Let's see what else we have here. We've got more vessels. Oh, and then this is kind of like our shipping back stock over here. We've got lots of just boxes, just tons of boxes here. We split up, and this is like all decor stuff. So nothing crazy to see there. So we actually split up our shipping based on what the product is by different stores. So let's go back upstairs real quick. All right. All right. So that's the basement. So let me just show you around a little bit of our shop here. Back to here, there's a curtain back there, and then right behind it is just tons of, that's where all of our wax is, because we don't like to take it to the basement because it's so heavy. So it is all way back there behind the curtain, or the stuff that's here in the hallway. I gotta take it to another store. Out here on the sales floor, we've got all kinds of different vessels and things to choose from. Some dream vessels, some candle science here. We've got a lot of makesy things as well, so we can make candles and test stuff and all kinds of different vessels. This is getting real sloppy. I'm not a video guy here. So these skulls are fantastic. They do really well year round. We keep them year round. We don't just do those for the holiday season or for the Halloween season. We do them year round. Then obviously we have just lots of candles here and throughout the store. At our register, so people ask all the time, like, oh, do you use this or that or whatever? We use just an iPad. So we're just running our shop off of an iPad. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, so if you are getting into a retail or store, or you have a retail store, printers, receipt tape printers are very, very expensive. $400, I think, for those. So when we opened up our third store, we didn't buy a printer. And so when we ring people up, we just say, do you want me to email or text you a receipt? And that's how we collect their email addresses. Let me put this back down. Yeah. So we just say, hey, do you want us to email or text you a receipt? And they'll tell us which one, and we send it to them that way. We've been operating that store almost 2 years now. We've never had anyone complain about not getting a paper receipt. So just keep that in mind. You can save money that way. You don't need a receipt printer, especially out of markets or anything like that. But even if you have a brick and mortar store, you do not need to have a receipt printer. So hopefully this video has been fun. Hopefully it will kind of show you this is where we live. This is how we operate. It's not always clean. Definitely not always clean. I like to stay organized, but everyone's version of organized is very, very different. But yeah, hopefully this helped you out. Let me know in the comments below what you think about it, and if I should give you a tour of our other two shops and show you those setups as well. So if you appreciate this video, I will certainly do that if you want me to. So take care. Bye-bye.